Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Two Brothers channel. I'm one brother.
And I'm the second brother. Welcome to the Two Brothers channel. We have a special guest with us tonight. I'm gonna let you guys kind of guess who that is, but I know you can't never guess. So our special guest is
Rika.
Hey! Hey, welcome back, Rika. Back to you, Mr. Phil. Back to you, Mr. Phil.
Well, I'll let Rika actually tell us how she's doing. How are you doing, Rika?
I am doing absolutely amazing. So good to be back.
Both black and back.
Back and back.
Wow, it's good to see that you're still black.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Excellent. What actually happened was that I was just talking to Rika about the topic we're going to cover today. And you'll find out the topic in a few minutes. And she was coming up with some good stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Are you going to be free at a certain date and a certain time? You know? Because, you know, the world needs to hear this good stuff that you're sharing with me. I don't keep it only to myself, you know? And thankfully she said she was available. And here we are, you know, and I know it's been months that Rika has joined us, and some people will be wondering what she's been doing. So should I actually speak for her, or should we ask Rika, what have you been doing with yourself lately?
So I've been doing a lot, to be honest. Mainly a lot of internal work. So I'd say that's mainly where the journey has been. But yeah, I've just been working, being at home, you know, focusing on building me as a person. So yeah.
Wow. And you know, the great thing about that is that I obviously get to see the work that Rika is doing. And I keep telling Rika that she doesn't have the baggage that we have to deal with.
I'm privileged. Honestly, I'm privileged to have someone like you as my dad, so you know.
Oh wow. Wow. Because I was telling Rika that there's so many things that is not even in Rika's reality at all that we lived with growing up in Africa, growing up in Nigeria. So you need to first deal with that baggage first. You need to first remove all those baggage first before you even start elevating yourself and raising your vibration. However, people like Rika has obviously come to this world and said, you know what, I don't need all that baggage to go. What do you think, Mr. Clay?
Yeah, it's a fantastic advantage point. And without you even picking it out, she probably didn't notice that she had that vantage point or that advantage. But I certainly whenever I look back at the way I was brought up and the way I grew up, there's so many things that little things that all pile up. Like you just think, okay, I gotta let go of these things, you know, and it must just be as simple as, believe it or not, I still need meat on my plate for me to enjoy my meal, you know, which is, somebody might even think, what is that? But it's a real thing. It's a real conditioned thing. But now I'm having to give up meat. And that's a journey of self-discipline that I'm going through right now. So yeah, I can totally relate. Back to you, Mr. Phil.
And, you know, not even talking about me alone, that's a great example because my children, Rika included, don't view meat the way we view or I view meat. And I know the way I view meat is the way you viewed meat because we saw meat as the reward for all the crap, for all the hard work, for all the things you have to endure. Now you got meat to enjoy. Only to find out later it's not good for you. But guess what? Your mind has been set though. So Mr. Clay is actually doing the work now to get off meat. I've not started the work yet. But I know I need to do the work too. If I'm gonna have my physical body the way it should be. A lot of the things that we're eating nowadays are not healthy. And the way they're being produced, especially in the West, is not healthy. So you have the mentality, and then you even have the way science has gone in trying to mass produce stuff for us that has led us down a very unhealthy path.
Oh, yeah.
Which leads us to the topic we're going to be talking about today. The topic, believe it or not, and it will all tie up in the end, is Africa. Remember, this is the Africa series. This is going to be episode 86. And we said the next episodes till we get to 100 are going to be Africa focused. However, the message is really for the world, but really Africa. Connect with the economy of abundance.
Wow.
Africa, connect with the economy of abundance. We've done topics about your intuition. Follow your intuition, not your education. We've dealt with topic about that. And one thing about us with the Two Brothers channel is this: we don't only share things to motivate you. We don't only share things to equip you. Guess what? Through this topic now, you will realize that we've even gone one step further, and we're going to provide you a platform to apply all the good things you've been learning. So you now have a platform for life. And so that's what we're going to connect you with. And that platform is called Gift Genius. Now, we're going to break it down for you. When Mr. Clay comes into shot, you will see the logo that he's wearing on his t-shirt is Gift Genius. And it's like a logo of cooperation. So, but, we're going to go into it now, but I'll let Mr. Clay say a few words.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Phil. This is the logo Mr. Phil's talking about. Gift Genius. Designed by the man himself. And you can see it's linking together. So the collaboration is already happening there, Fantastic, fantastic. And everywhere I look now, I see Gift Genius in places as well. Gift Genius is following me around. But what Mr. Phil was talking about, which I think, we need to all be very, very appreciative of, is I remember many years ago, he mentioned the fact that, you can either operate in scarcity or you can operate in abundance. Now, hearing that, we're surrounded by scarcity. Scarcity in our mindset, scarcity in the way we talk, even from school, scarcity, it's not like everybody gets grade, it's only one first, when you were in school in Africa, you guys know what we're talking about. In your class, there's always first in the class, second in the class, So it's always like there's very, very limited spaces for success to happen. It's about you don't get to associate with success. There's no abundance of success around you. It's all failure, scarcity, everything is dead, dry, and only very, very weird sparkles, very few are successful. And everybody's like, oh, they fluked it because everybody else is not successful. So when Mr. Phil's talking about scarcity and abundance, you start thinking, is there enough space for us all to be abundant? Is it even possible? It's nice. It sounds nice. And we want abundance. Who wouldn't want it? But reality, what have we all experienced? So don't let me go further for now. I'll pass you back to Mr. Phil.
Thank you, Mr. Clay. I'm going to go into scarcity and abundance. and so that we can lay a proper foundation for people that are new to this or they've not followed us for a while, etc., you know. And so, okay, before I go into that, the first thing I want to say is this. I'm not saying that I know everything.
Oh, Mr. Phil, have you done the housekeeping? Have we done the housekeeping?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clare. Mr. Clare wants me to remind you to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment. I was actually doing it today. I was actually listening to a YouTube video that I was, you know, I follow a lot of people on YouTube because there's so much information now that is very good. And I remember even me, I have to like the comment. If it touches me, I do. I leave comments. I share the video. Exactly, I shared it with you today, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. So if what we're doing here is touching you in any way, like the video. You guess what? They're free, aren't they?
Yeah, likes are free.
Each one of us can do is the least. Just like the video. Leave a comment. This touched me about what you said. Thank you. The universe will repay you. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So so back to my disclaimers, because it's a disclaimer. Mr. Phil is not saying that he knows everything. Mr. Phil is not saying that you have to agree with everything Mr. Phil is saying. Mr. Phil is not even saying that you have to subscribe to what Mr. Phil is saying. However, what I have learned on my journey is that not everybody will like you. Some people don't even like the way I sound. Some people don't like my expressions. But guess what? Some people do. Some people like it. Now, guess what that means? It means it is all down to vibration. What do you vibe with? So I just wanted to say that before I let Rike come in and say her bit on scarcity. So remember, everybody, Mr. Phil is not saying he has all the answer, but just pick what resonates with you and what vibes with you. Okay? So that out of the way, I bring Rike on to come and share with us a little take on scarcity and abundance.
So, yeah, speaking about scarcity, for me, scarcity and abundance is a very, very interesting topic because I see so much scarcity, yet so much abundance at the same time, especially living in London. You know, there's that dichotomy of poverty and wealth or riches, you know. However, I do believe that the universe itself is abundant. That is what the universe is about. It's ever expanding and it's ever providing. For example, you plant one seed, it grows a tree, and that tree bears how many thousands of fruits year round, you know? So that is just one small example of the abundance of the universe. However, people, you know, for example, like, well, I don't know whether to get political, but the government or people who own, like, say, a farm or something, they'll say, oh, there's not enough. You have to pay this amount. You have this this prestige in order to get it. However, the universe will be provided for all of us. So having a scarcity mentality just taking away from yourself in the end, because when you share, that's when more comes to you. You know, I use this analogy of the sponge. If I'm honest, I can't remember where I got it from. However, a sponge. If a sponge is full of water, it can no longer absorb anything. However, if you release, you're able to absorb. So I believe that everybody should, you know, have an open mind and be able to just believe that once you give, you will definitely receive back. And it's said in so many different ideologies, for example, in Christianity, in Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, so many different disciplines. So yeah, that's just the beginning of what I want to say on scarcity and abundance.
Thank you, Rike. And you just said something there that really is where I'm going to start from. The universe by nature is abundant. As a matter of fact, what I actually see the universe as, and remember my disclaimer, I'm not saying that only what I'm saying is the only right thing. But what I'm saying though is looking at, I'm showing you another example. Okay, so it's because I know a lot of people will be like, oh, what are you always saying this? Because I'm gonna be saying some things that are gonna be mind-blowing. However, do the investigation and go with what vibes with you. Anyway, back to university.
Say it unapologetically, Mr. Phil. Say your truth. You know, say it loud, say it clear. You know. Yes.
Okay. I know, because for some reason I just felt the need to, make everybody understand that there's no right or wrong in the universe. Anyway, the way I look at it is that the universe is very, very responsible. Let me repeat that again. The universe is very, very responsible. That means every human being, that is my belief, that is born on this earth, in the galaxy, wherever they are, were meant to be alive, and the universe has created and provided everything they need in excess. The universe has provided every single thing they need: air, sunshine, provision. Think about it. Even a baby born helpless. Let me share this one with you. I just saw it. It's a sad one. I didn't think that I was going to share it, but let me share it with you just to show you how responsible the universe is, even when human beings are not. I don't know if I shared that video with Mr. Clay, but there's this video on a CCTV camera of a lady dropping what seems like rubbish into a dumpster, into a trash can, these big bins that they put general rubbish. And it turns out it was a baby.
Wow.
She drove off. Apparently, she just gave birth to the baby about 4 hours earlier. And she put that baby in a black bag and dropped it in the pile of rubbish where, these big trucks come and lift these things and pour it. But thankfully, it was not rubbish day. So later on, the CCTV caught some street people, people that are living on the street that are coming to see if there's anything edible in the bin. And they said they heard this sound. It was like a whimper. And they thought it was maybe a fox or a rat. But what made them investigate though? So they investigate and open the bag. First got the bag out of the depth of the rubbish, opened the bag, and it was a baby boy.
Wow.
Now, guess what? What was so interesting is that part of those people that there were 2 men and a woman. The woman's maternal instinct kicked in immediately. She pushed both men away, got the baby, started kissing the baby. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, look at the universe. One maternal instinct, one denied her own maternal instincts. Meanwhile, how is it that it was 3 people that showed up and one of them was a woman? Why wasn't it just 2 men? And the moment she got the baby, you should have seen her grab the baby and started kissing the baby and started going like this with the baby and started looking at the baby and started going like this, And I was just thinking like, the universe is so responsible beyond our wildest imagination. Do you get what I'm saying? So I know we're meant to be talking about abundance, but I'll let you guys come in. Rika, what are your thoughts?
I'm sorry, that story just literally made me tear up a bit, and mainly because the woman probably only left her kid in a dumpster because she thought she could not provide for it. And that is, I don't want to, blame her or anything, because if you feel like you don't have the means, then you feel like you don't have the means. But that is a learned behavior, in my opinion, which is in turn scarcity mentality. Because, like you said, the universe provides. So if she had not been told, or if she had not learned that she would not be able to provide if she didn't have this, if she didn't have this, and if she didn't have this, she would have never left that baby, in that condition. And I'm so grateful to the universe and its abundance for allowing 3 people, 2 men and a woman, like you said, amazingly, to find that baby in the dumpster, covered in rubbish, Oh, it's just so beautiful to just see the abundance of the universe and how it provides, even when you think that it will not, So that's yeah, I'm just really touched by that, because obviously I'm a woman, and I don't know, I could never think of that, maybe because of my own mentality, but I just sympathize with her because I understand that she felt like she couldn't provide, so that was the only thing that she could do that was left,
Okay.
But yeah.
Mr. Leia, what are your thoughts?
It's a wonderful, wonderful story. And it makes me think about the universe is a wonderful record keeper. And even though it's a positive story, it could have been a very negative story. And I'm sure there are many negative stories out there. But ultimately, like I think it was this morning that or a few days ago, we were talking about, there is no good or bad.
Thank you. There's no good or bad.
When you're talking about abundance, that means there is no death, ultimate death. So because we could speak, the worst thing that could happen to the baby would die. That's the absolute worst thing that could happen to the baby. So we don't want the baby to die. But when you're talking about there's no good or bad and there's no death, that we're all part of this. I mean, ultimate love. They will say that when it's all said and done, love is what is there. Not hate, not death. Love, abundance. Because with love comes abundance. Because when whatever you love, even when you love eating anything, you eat too much of it. That shows you the abundance side of it. So love, ultimate love provides. Ultimate love ensures there's enough to go around. We men can restrict ourselves from getting to it. But that doesn't mean that, we can't change that. Or that is not, the possibility of it changing isn't available. Abundance, is actually something that we all need to meditate on. So we operate in abundance. And when I say we operate in abundance, that should be our default mindset, for example, if they say they want to increase interest rates or they want to sack somebody, you should not feel like, oh my God, I'm losing my job. Oh, I'm not going to be able to. You should be like excited. Whatever comes, you should be, not even just like, oh, take it as a neutral. Be excited because the universe abundance is kicking in. Something great is about to happen. And not the other way around where you always think of the worst. Because actually, believe it or not, you are creating your reality. So if your abundance is your mindset and abundance is your starting point, you're going to create great things rather than you create bad things because you're coming out of fear, which is going to be limiting beliefs. So you have to always know that as you are imagining things and you're meditating on abundance. Let me just go back to the meat situation. Today I found out that if you're eating meat, it actually affects the way you create your future, you create your environment, you create your reality. Because because the meat, the way the animal died probably wasn't the best way. And because the animal dying in that way, and you're injecting that DNA into your system, to your psyche, it's actually going to trip up your system, not even just physically, but even in, spiritually and mentally. So it's very important that we make abundance our mindset and our default mindset. Mr. Phil, back to you.
Thank you. Wow, it's so nice to see and hear yourself, Mr. Clay and Enrique, talk about these things, because I know where we started with. Okay, scarcity. We're all used to scarcity. We all know scarcity. As a matter of fact, that is what we all know. Some people have to suffer. While some people are like, oh, they've got everything. You look at them, it's like, look at them, they've got everything. And you look at some people are like, some people feel like you don't deserve anything. And the key is that is what we're used to. That is what we know. The same reason why African politicians would take money out of Africa that needs the money and take it to somewhere to go and hide. Is it not scarcity mentality?
Mm-hmm.
Is it not scarcity mentality that will make someone, it's not that they're evil people, but it's because they believe there's not enough. So they've got to protect themselves. They've got to hoard it. They've got to look after their own family, forgetting that their family actually don't live in isolation. Their family have to actually come back and live in that country or have connection with that country. They forget that. Why? Because everybody is so wrapped up in this scarcity thing. And like Cricket said, guess what? It's all man-made restrictions. It's all man-induced. It's all, and I say it like it's simple, but of course it's not simple. Because you see, those man-made restrictions, those man-made creations are very powerfully created with our own mind.
Mm-hmm. I was sorry to interject. I was literally going to say that if you believe in scarcity, if you think that there is not enough, that is what you will experience. However, if you believe in abundance and you believe that everybody has, well, God has provided for everybody, that is what you will experience. Simple.
And that is the key. Whatever you believe, whatever your mind believes is what you will experience. Let me repeat that. Whatever your mind believes is what you will experience. You didn't get that. Let me repeat that. Whatever your mind believes is what you will experience. Guess what? So really, like Mr. Clay said earlier, you are the one creating what you experience by what you believe. Mm. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of this. Many, many years ago, I've always heard, if you get sacked at your job, you got sacked, and sometimes they don't even have to tell you. It's how they react. Mm-hmm. I keep telling Mr. Clay as well that, this thing that they call death, I am really, really investigating it. And I'm thinking, you know what, the way everybody's reacting to it, there's more to this thing than, everybody lose their mind. It's like we're programmed to react a certain way, and then we create. So anyway, I was told, you got sacked. Oh, he got sacked. Oh, she got sacked. So as a kid, growing up, I'm like, I better not get sacked too. I better not get sacked. Do you know the first time I got sacked was actually a positive experience for me? Why? Thankfully, I'd already started reading. I'd already started reading Think and Grow Rich. I'd already started reading How to Influence and Influence People. I'd already, and I was working, and the guy, they wanted me to pretend I was working when I finished my job. And I just, at that point in my life, was like, no, I'm not going to pretend I'm working when I finish my job. Have you finished your job? Yes. Is it done? Yes, check it. It's done? Okay. Okay, start pretending you're working. No, I'm not going to pretend I'm working. I finished. And the guy said, because of that, you're too stiff-necked. Your sap. It was like thunder. Your. And I heard the sound of sack for the first time. I'm like, gang, gang, gang. A week later, I got another job and I was earning literally double. I was earning double. And when I got that sack, I was tempted to feel like, oh, this is bad. But for some reason, I just didn't. I just went, okay. Maybe because I was the principal, I knew I was sacked on the principle. So I just went, you know what, no worries. And I carried on. And a week later, I was like, you mean if I'd stayed there, I would have been still earning that? But now I'm earning double? If I'd known that, I would have left before. Again, our mind are so powerful that we literally will experience, which means we will live the life we believe. But where does our belief come from? Our belief comes from our thoughts. And where does our thought come from? Our thought comes from what we hear, what's our environment. Now you have to remember we did an episode on mind managers. You have to be the custodian of what you think about. And for you to be a custodian of what you think about, why would you even want to be a custodian of what you think about? It's because that is what you will literally experience.
Mm-hmm.
So we started thinking about abundance. And like Chris said earlier, we noticed that, hang on, the universe is abundant, you know. We look at the fishes of the sea. One fish will release millions of eggs, millions of. We look at the birds of the sky. They don't carry credit cards. Where the credit card comes from? Man, from what? It's thought. No wonder birds are looking at us and saying, you can carry all the credit cards you want. We don't need it. Jobs. Where did it come from? We don't, like Rika said earlier, there's everything that we experience in the scarcity world. The word that says, for me to have, you can't have. The words that says, for me to have, you have to be deprived. The word that says, for someone to be up, someone has to be down. That is not natural. That is not the universe. The universe, you know what the universe is? The universe says, free everybody. The universe says the sky is enough for every bird to fly. Even if fish, you want to join them, go and fly. The universe is about abundance. That means that if Mr. Phil wants to be a billionaire, he doesn't stop Mr. Clay in any way. He doesn't stop Pre-K in any way. That, oh, you mean we'll all be billionaires? Why not? Why not? Because that is the game the universe is in. Now, the universe will not agree with you if you say you want to participate in scarcity. Guess what? That choice is part of the abundance of the universe. You didn't hear what I said. That choice that you've chosen to be part of scarcity is part of the abundance of the universe. That means that the universe will not say, you can't do that. Because the moment the universe says, you can't do that, then it is participating in scarcity. Because why can't you? Because can't means there's a limitation. But the universe is not about any, you're not hearing me. The universe is not about any limitations. The universe is about abundance. The universe is not about any kind of limitation. Be mental. Guess what? The universe is so abundant that it defends your right to be wrong. You didn't hear me. Oh, you can't be right. You see, all that is man. And that is why I said to myself, I'm learning that, like Rika said earlier on, and Mr. Clay too touched on, it's not about right or wrong. It's not about good or bad. Oh, this is good. Oh, that is bad. Oh, that is right. Oh, that is wrong. You know what? After following that journey to a level, I found out that you'll be right, and you don't know when you get it wrong. But I was right, then you'll be right again. Guess what? It's all about perspective. The person looking at the number 9 from this perspective is different from the same person seeing it as number 6 from that perspective. And they both will kill each other over it. It's our perspective. And the universe knows this. So when we say right or wrong, I'm beginning to appreciate and be humble enough to say, I don't have enough data to say what is right and what is wrong. So what do you do, Mr. Phil? If there's no right, if there's no wrong, what do you do? What you do is you observe what it is. You have a, that's what I'm learning to do now. Have a discipline not to label it as right or wrong. There are stories, there are Tao stories about this, about, you know, I think it was a king. Okay, let me quickly tell you the king. The king was, the king was cleaning his sword one day. The sword fell on the king's toe and cut it off. And the king went, "Oh, my toe, my toe, my toe!" And one of the king's officials said, "Oh, sorry about your toe. Who knows what that happened, whether it's good or bad." And this person said, "How can you say it's good? Look at my toe. Lock him up. Lock him up. He said my toe is good to be off my body. Lock him up. You're even lucky I didn't kill you." So they locked the official up. Anyway, one day the king was with his missing toe. He was riding in the forest hunting, and he got to a point when he got lost. He got lost, and all his army and whatever were looking after him, they lost him. And he went into this in the hands of this very primitive but exclusive people that they didn't even know were in the forest, and they kidnapped him. And it happened to be like, they said, this looks like a very good sacrifice. We're gonna sacrifice. Thank God we don't get our sacrifice. So they took the king, and they were just about to sacrifice the king. They stripped the king naked. They put the fire on, boiling. Wait, they were gonna cook him. And then one of them noticed that we cannot use this sacrifice. He said, "Why can't we use this sacrifice?" I said, "Can't you see it's incomplete? One toe is missing." That is how they let the king go, over his missing toe. So the king got back to his palace and said, first go and release that official. Go and release it. Because it is true. Who knows what is good and who knows what is bad? What are your thoughts, Mr. Clay?
Fantastic story, Mr. Phil. Fantastic story. Yep. My thoughts about the story is a fantastic story.
Okay.
We're going back to the abundance. I was enjoying the Mr. Phil show. So when everybody is together, like you were saying earlier, and you know, people have tried to figure out what is it good or is it bad. Let me introduce this thing that we've been talking about, both of us. Going after your greatest joy. You know, because if we're all going after our greatest joy, we will find that the universe, in its wisdom, will make sure everybody slots into places. And because of the abundance of the universe, there is no scarcity, there is no limitation. So that means wherever you find yourself and what you're passionate about is what you're going to use to feed yourself. That's where your success is, because you will spend more time there, you will be better there, and you'll be more successful there, most successful there, I should say. So let me just introduce that little bit to the abundance discussion, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you. Because what Mr. Clare said there is because a lot of us, we've come from a background where our parents says, you will be a lawyer, you will be a doctor, you will be an engineer, you will be an architect. We've been there. And what they've forgotten is that each one of us coming into this world, we have come with our own passion. And whenever we get displaced from our passion, that is why we struggle. What are your thoughts, Rike?
So I was literally just thinking back to when I was younger, and I thank God that my dad wasn't somebody who was like, you be a doctor, you be a lawyer, you be a this, you be a that. One of the earliest memories I have of my dad speaking to me about, you know, what I wanted as a career was, what is your passion? What do you want to do? And let me tell you, that was way before all of the knowledge that we're knowing now, funny enough. So now you see how everything slots into place, because like when you follow your highest joy and your passion, that's when you feel the most joy, the most life, you know, the most energy, and the universe will provide. And I was thinking about this as well when you said that, you know, there's so much space in the sky. Even if the fish want to join the birds, they can join them. I was thinking about how, you know, when you're like, oh, this is my passion and this is what I want to do in life, but you see so many other people doing very similar things, or even like the exact same thing that you're doing. You're thinking, oh, there's no space for me. Oh, they're already doing already. I have to change my mind. I have to do something else. We're all forgetting that there's only one Rika, there's only one Mr. Phil, there's only one Mr. Leia. So the universe has made it so great that even though everybody may be expressing the same kind of joy or same kind of passion, you have your own lane, and there is space for everybody. It's not stepping stones. You don't have to step upon somebody else to reach your goals. There is an even playing field. The floor is flat. Literally, there's space for everybody. And that just shows you the abundance of the universe, that no matter how many billions of people on this planet alone, there is space for everybody. I just think it's just so powerful, you know? And I'm grateful that my dad told me, follow your passion, because I never felt like I needed to go for a job, study very hard and be this academic or this type of person. It was always, what is your passion? What makes you happy? If that's what makes you happy, go ahead, you know? So I encourage everybody to do that too. That is one of my biggest things that I really preach. What is your passion? Follow it. And there's space for everyone. So yeah, back to you.
Wow.
Thank you so much. And one of the only thing that will stop you from your passion is your fear that maybe it will happen. That's the only thing. It's your fear. Now, some people might support that fear. Of course, some people will like, yeah, you should be afraid. They will support that fear. But you see, one of the things I've learned is that other people can never see what you see. This is one of the things that Mr. Clare keep reminding me. Other people cannot see what you see. What you see is what you see. And what you see, look, like we did a program on Kevin Samuels, and one of the things I did an episode on Kevin Samuels, that when Kevin Samuels was telling us what he wanted to do, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. And I didn't even think it was a good idea. But when the guy, thankfully, the guy didn't listen to people like me. Because guess the only person that needed to see what he was going to do was him. And he did it. And all the rest of us could do was, wow, I didn't see it that way. Of course you didn't see it that way, because you're not him. Mr. Clay,
That is it. You know, you guys have just summed it up beautifully. You know, there's not even anything I can add to it, because it's just, you know, Rike went exactly where I was gonna, you know, go, and he captured it beautifully. And you just added to it. So, you know, I'm not gonna even add to it.
Mr. Clay is always one for brevity. Okay, but guess what? We've not even done the job yet, because the job we've got to do here is now introduced gift genius.
Ah.
Now, gift genius, yes, because they say whoop and wow and all that because they know what we're talking about. Gift genius was born out of me long time ago saying to the universe, there's got to be more to life than this. And then it got to a point where we started thinking about abundance, and the universe said to me, let somehow, because what you have to appreciate is that the universe is about energy, vibrations, and frequencies. All of us have access to all the wisdom of the universe. It is not exclusive to Mr. Clay. It's not exclusive to Mr. Phil. It's not exclusive to Rike. All of us. If there's anything that I know that you don't know, it's either because you're not really interested in knowing it, or it is just not your time yet. But to think that Mr. Phil has this special right or someone else this special access is not true. Now, see how powerful our mind is again. But if you decide that in your reality, you want some people to have special rights and special access, then that is what you will experience. You will experience people with special rights and special access. But if in your reality, you choose to say, no, we are all uniquely created and we all have access. Just the universe is not a respecter of persons. I don't care who you are. Guess what you will experience? You will experience just that. And the universe will treat you exactly like that. So the universe treated me like that. I asked the question, must we always participate in this scarcity economics? And that's what the universe came to me, and I was blown away. The universe said, no, you don't, because there's another economic that you can be part of, and it's called the abundance economy. I'm like, wow. And the universe said, do you know, even in the poorest places on earth, they don't need to be suffering for money. Even controlled money, they don't have to. I'm like, wow. And a few years later, the universe actually now showed me what I call it. I don't know whether somewhere else, because somewhere else anyone calls it, but I call it the mathematics of abundance. How mathematically it is possible for all of us to be multi-millionaires without even a struggle. And the universe showed me in black and white how it is going to be done. And now, that is what is behind Gift Genius. Gift Genius runs on the mathematics of abundance. Let me quickly tell you this. Do you know that all around you, the universe is so abundant of energy that over a century ago, the universe inspired Nikola Tesla to come up with a device that will supply free energy, free power forever for everybody. No charge, free of charge. I'm not going to go into the story too much. Just type Nikola Tesla into Google, look at it. We've had free energy. So we've been paying gas, we've been paying electricity, we've been paying for petrol for over a century when none of us needed to pay it. But guess who stopped it? Man. Man said, no, we cannot give these people free energy. So guess what? Scarcity economy said, no, we cannot give these people free energy. Abundance economy inspired a scientist to create free energy. Why don't we have free energy? Because man said no. Some of you, that is news to you. Some of you are like, why are we paying for what we don't have to pay? Some of you, you're saying, what? You mean we don't have to go to the job to pay for rent and pay for this and pay for that? Yes, some of you is just breaking your mind. But the universe has always been faithful. And so I'm sharing that with you because the universe now showed me even one step further that with Gift Genius, all of us, we don't even have to ask permission from anybody, or all of us have enough money to make all of us multimillionaires. So how does Gift Genius work? YouTube, I've noticed. Facebook, I've noticed. All of them, they don't like you advertising your stuff on their platform. So if you want to know about Give Genius, we're going to put a link in the description. Come, because again, like I told you, we don't only motivate you, we don't only equip you with information, we have created a platform in Give Genius where you can apply all this good stuff you're learning to generate cash flow. You didn't hear me. To generate cash flow. You didn't hear me. To generate cash flow. So there'll be links, and even if there's no link, drop a comment. I'd like to be part of the Give Genius program, or I'd like to at least know about how it works. Send you a link to join us. Now, there is, we will leave the email address. I prefer you send me an email. Send me an email. That way it is private. Okay. We'll put our email, the Two Brothers email, in the description. Send us an email so that even if you've missed a meeting, we can tell you when the next meeting is going to take place. Okay. And then we'll tell you everything. And guess what? Even if all you know is know about it, guess what? At least you now know about there's an economy of abundance that you can participate in wherever you are in the world. Yes, granted, right now we're only operating in the UK, US, Nigeria, and Gambia. Yes, but we're going to open up other places. The only reason why they're doing restrictions right now is because all those other places don't know it yet. So if you're a leader in those places, we're willing to work with you and you can take it to where your people are. Okay, so the good news, anyway, to bring it all around, is we now have an economy of abundance that we can operate in.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And guess what? Money is the least of the abundance. Let me repeat that. Money is the least of the abundance. Because when you actually, after you've gone beyond money, you now find that human beings are the real wealth in the universe. Consciousness are the real wealth in the universe. I'll give it to Rike, then I'll let Mr. Claire round up, then we go.
Okay, so while Madad was saying what he was saying, some thoughts were springing to my mind, scarcity, abundance, and what the two are defined as in our world, right? So a question came to me. Scarcity, in my opinion, means being controlled, because you only have that mentality unless you're taught it. Otherwise, as a babe, as a young baby, you don't know what there is out there. You believe that everything is at your fingertips. So the question that came to mind was, do you want to be controlled or do you want freedom? Do you want to be coerced or do you want liberation? And it may seem as if it's a generic or cliche question, but ponder upon that, because that will define the rest of your life. Mic drop.
Wow. That was very powerful. I want liberation. I want freedom.
Amen.
I'm on the abundance side all day long. And that's the beauty of abundance. There is no limitation.
Exactly.
And it goes on from generation to generation. This is why I said, you need to meditate on this abundance and have it being, I need to meditate on it more, and operate from it daily. If anything happens to you, think abundance. I've for many years I've operated in having a positive mindset, but now I'm taking it to the next phase of abundance, which is powerful. So on that note, I'll catch up with you guys next time. Back to you, Mr. Phil.
Thank you, Mr. Clay. I just leave you guys with the fact that with Give Genius, and we're going to be talking about Give Genius more now. We're going to be talking about so many aspects of it, because we cannot even touch 1% of it in this episode. So over other episodes, we're going to be talking different aspects, how it manifests and everything. But one thing you will know from this is that it is here, it is the economy of abundance, operating on the mathematics of abundance. I wasn't taught it in a church. I wasn't taught it in the university. I wasn't taught it on the streets. I was taught it through intuition. Remember, we're talking about your real education is through intuition. The universe is abundant. The universe is responsible. The universe is love. The universe is wealthy. The universe is amazing. There's nothing you need. That the universe is not there on your side. You don't even have an idea. But one of the tools that we've been given is Gift Genius. So come and find out about Gift Genius. We're here. We're going into abundance with no apology, like Mr. Clay says. And the truth again, let me actually land this as well. You're welcome if you want to join us. But if you don't want to join us, feel free. That's part of the abundance.
Yeah.
And the greatest news is nobody can stop us. Because we can't stop you too. We don't want to stop you. So why not just let's go together into abundance? On that note, see you in the land of abundance. God bless everybody.
Bye-bye. See you next time. Bye.
Everyone, thanks for having me once again.